lie in the grass next to the mausoleum. I'm just a notch in your bedpost, but you're just a line in a song. Oh shit, hey, sorry, didn't see you there. Um, Hello, I'm back. It's your boy, Al Ma'allim, coming at you with another sketchbook flip through. Alright, let's get into this. So this is the sketchbook we're going to be looking at today. It's definitely one of my most decorated sketchbook covers. It's also covered in dog hair, just like everything else in my life. I believe this was my sketchbook throughout 2022. Let's see here. June 2022 to March 2nd, 2023. Let's scooch this over here. So I'm going for a little bit of a different style with these. I'm actually going to talk through the sketchbook a bit more. I don't have any script intended here. So let's get started. These are a series of doodles that I honestly just copied from Pinterest. I honestly didn't even write down the names of the artists, so that's my bad. I mostly was just trying out this kind of like pen drawing style. There's a self-portrait. It says, "My body is a temple where I worship the sun." These guys are some of the backgrounds for the game Escape the Bullpen, which I made with G.G. Cleveland. Super excited about that. I'll, of course, put a link in the description. Yeah, one of the reasons I decided to make this video was just to kind of talk. It's been a long time since I've been on here, and I've been meaning to do just like a casual flip-through video. Part of the sort of like reason I've been gone is like, I have been working on this larger project, which is based on Paul Preciado's book Testo Junkie. This with Posca marker, I think, is the first time I ever tried it. Yeah, I've been working on this project based on Testo Junkie for a couple months. Probably will still be a couple of months. And I don't know. I also just like, I felt like I didn't know what to say, and like I didn't want to come in here and say something that was not about Palestine, because that's really been on my mind. I mean, for my entire life, but especially the last couple of months. And so I, just like haven't been sure what to say about that. And maybe I'll get into that a little bit more later. But yeah, just wanted to come back, be casual, and like break my spell of not posting. Also, Finn from Swolesome shouted me out yesterday. Thank you so much, my dude. So there's a bunch of new folks on here, which I'm super grateful for. And yeah, hope you folks stick around. This is an acrylic painting. This is the beginning of my recent acrylic era. I've been doing actually a number of large-scale acrylic paintings that hopefully you will see in the coming times. Actually, if you watch the video, Notes Toward a Transmask Sexual Politics, that's one of my large-scale recent acrylic paintings. It's called The King of Wands. In this sketchbook, and also in my previous one, I was really into doing a bunch of like comic making workshops. This one is, I believe it was like memory-based. So it's a number of drawings of like my childhood in Alexandria, going to the beach, eating mangoes, playing backgammon with my aunt, and hosing myself off with the hose after going into the beach. I believe this became the essay "Why I Don't Take Pharma Testosterone" in T-Zine, which is kind of hilarious because, as you can probably tell from my voice, I have been experiencing some voice changes, initially because of the ashwagandha, but I do actually take testosterone now, which was the impetus for me to start working on this project based on Testo Junkie. This was an early character design for also Escape the Bullpen. Some Disco Elysium fan art. This sketchbook, as with all of my others, contains a number of depictions of men fucking, so if you don't like that sort of thing, please leave now. Some herbalism notes about plant identification. Some of my characters from Lunar Phase, picking some Queen Anne's lace. This was based on a piece of graffiti I saw in Toronto of a black man carrying a child, and I just thought this was a really cute image, inspired by that. some observational drawings. This was a picture by Bex Wade of a trans rights protest in the UK. I don't remember all the details at the moment, sorry. Some designs for things that ended up not happening, similar. These drawings, I actually was in quarantine while I was making them. I was stuck at the house of this lady who my partner and I were friends with, who lives in upstate New York. She's since passed away, so shout out Anne. Thank you for letting us crash at your house for 2 extra weeks when we got COVID. This is a drawing I did on the back of a restaurant menu. This is a design for my tattoo that I ended up getting by a marvelous trans femme artist named Cass. This is a study for a large acrylic painting. These are all the paint swatches. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I kind of, to return to the subject of Palestine, like, I feel like what's sort of been happening recently, like the just much more severe escalation of genocide over the last couple of months has, I don't know, it's just left me obviously like mentally and emotionally super upset and like not sure what to do. And like, of course I've been engaged in political action on the ground and like I've been, posting stuff on my socials, whatever the hell that's supposed to do. But I just feel, I don't know, like especially recently, a lot of the like voices out of Gaza have been like just sort of like shocked that like the world is allowing this to happen, and like they're right to be shocked. It's horrendous, it's horrifying, but it's also um I don't know, yeah, and like just it doesn't feel unexpected to me, I guess is how I would put it. These, by the way, are studies for another large acrylic painting. So these were all the thumbnails, sketch, and then I did a digital test of the coloring. And like, I don't know, like I was born in Texas shortly before 9/11. I'm Egyptian, as you may know. And like, one of the things that I sort of like experienced very early on is that like people don't care about this. Like, people don't value our lives. Like, the entirety of my lifetime has been like a series of wars by the United States and like major Western powers against like just like Arab people, Muslim people, people from the so-called Middle East, and like also like something that feels kind of strange to me. And I was talking to a friend about this. By the way, is for my game Breathe, which I'll post a link to. It's an interactive meditation game. But I was talking to my friend um, about how like people suddenly are like aware that Palestine is a place over the last couple months, which I don't know. First of all, like seems too late now that like Israel and the U.S. government are actively like trying to make it not a place anymore, like it fucking imminently, and like I feel like it also just like it makes me think of sort of like the sudden resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement during 2020 in response to the murders that took place while we were all in lockdown. And I think that like what to somebody who like has been following the movement for Black Lives for as long as I was old enough to, since Trayvon Martin was murdered, like it feels I don't know, like again, it was like, oh, okay, you just noticed this is a thing, and suddenly like it's all up in our faces, and we're like trying to demand something to be done, and then like as soon as you lose interest, then again, like nothing is followed up on. And I think that like that's kind of how it feels right now too. And like, I was talking to a friend, and they were saying like, okay, like suddenly for the first time in my life, like people are saying like things about Congo, and it's like this has been ongoing, like the genocide that's been happening there has been ongoing at this point for decades. Like why do you suddenly care? And it's because like I don't know. There's also I talked about this a little bit in my Black video. Though sorry for how fucking inaudible the audio is in that like a lot of it has to do with the sort of like conditional whiteness of Arab people. You know, like both that like we care about what happens to Arab people more than like we care about what happens to Black people. But also like we've seen how very suddenly how like that type of conditional whiteness can be withdrawn, right? All the hate crimes against Palestinian people and like the sudden like resurgence of sort of like post 9/11 anti-terrorism paranoia. There's a card from my friend Felix. Yeah, I don't know, just like stuff I've been thinking about lately. Um, I also had the intention to work on this project related to borders, which I still have been thinking about. And I think I don't know, it just again has been really like um, lots of things to work on. A lot has changed in my life recently too. Like I've been navigating borders in a whole exciting way. I also moved and now live in the Midwest of Canada, and yeah, just been up to a lot. I've been doing a lot more like in person work. I've been showing my artwork in public, which has been really cool. But I've really been yearning to come back to the space, so I'm really excited to work on this Testo Junkie project and show you folks some new stuff. Speaking of new stuff, these are some flags I tried to make based on the show Our Flag Means Death. And I tried to basically like print them using stencils, which was not the greatest idea, but it was a very fun project. This was supposed to be another piece from my tarot series. I never quite got back around to it. I believe it was supposed to be the Queen of Water of Cups. These are some fish stickers that I ended up making. Just a bunch of observational drawings. This is based on a painting by Joyce Wieland, I believe. There's a... Yes, okay, here we go. This is the actual painting. Can't really see because I colored with marker on the back of this guy. I always do that. I kind of regret using marker in my sketchbook, but I also just really like using it. So just have to make sure I take pictures of stuff. It's a bunch of Star Trek doodles with oil pastel, which I really was enjoying working with in this period. This one is based on some photos of houses in Nubia or in Sudan. And these are some sketches for some Our Flag Means Death paintings that I made. And I was really in my figure drawing era, as you can see. These were studies for a piece that I did that ended up in Translash zine. Here's another study for it. These, by the way, were a card that I made for my partner for our anniversary a couple years ago. And it was the first time I drew my persona. You can see it again here. That's the second one. So yeah, thanks so much for coming along this ride. I think I might actually show a second sketchbook, so I will be right back. All right, here we go. Sketchbook number 2. This one, it looks undecorated. I actually drew a pencil sketch on it, and I had this fantasy that I was gonna paint on it with acrylic. And like, as I mentioned, this previous sketchbook is like the most decorated I've ever gotten with a sketchbook. And I feel like what I learned is that basically I just have to like fucking go for it. Like, I'm pretty sure the only reason I painted this green is because I already had this green poured out for some other reason. And so I just like needed to use it. And then I just like, my partner collects all these cell phone blingies because they do a series of artworks based on indigenous beadwork, but using cell phone blingies that they did a few years ago. So we just have them in our house. But yeah, I had a plan to do an acrylic painting on here based off a painting by Igor Sherbakov, and I just didn't fucking do that. So yeah, this is my most recently finished sketchbook. Started it in March of last year, 2023, and I completed it in August. It's a short one. This is another painting by Igor Sherbakov. This was a test page of a spin-off comic for Escape the Bullpen that Gigi and I put together last year. And we didn't end up finishing it because we had pitched it to a publisher. It didn't end up getting picked up, but maybe we'll do that soon. What I really liked about this sketchbook is that it had these sheets of wax paper, transparency paper, and I'm not sure if you were supposed to draw on them, but I really love drawing with alcohol-based marker, and I really like the way that it creates two versions of the drawing if you do a front and a back. So I believe what I did in this case is I colored it on this side, so you can see the colors are a little bit richer, but then I turned it over and I did line art on this side. So they're just kind of subtly different. Some Marina and the Diamonds lyrics, normal. These are also for Calyx Bowl Revolution, Infinite Revolution Saga, which was that spin-off comic I was mentioning. And this is for collab I did with an artist. They sent me a lovely cross stitch of this, which is really beautiful. I believe I was working on notes toward a transmasc sexual politic in this book. This is the High Priestess. I believe I drew this on an airplane while we were moving to Ontario. But yeah, again, if you don't like to see men's butts, this one has especially a lot of them. I believe I did this with inkstone. It was ink that I had to grind myself. Don't love the drawing, but it was a fun adventure. This is a watercolor painting. This was a commission. It's a really fun one to draw. Yeah, so this is the prep sketches for King of Wands. If you watch the video in the clips where there's nothing in the top left-hand corner, you can see that I had this page taped, photocopied it to the wall. These are studies based on Norval Morrisseau paintings that I saw at the Hamilton Art Gallery. This is a commission piece. I think there's a flip through of this zine on my channel already. This was for a piece for Swim On Zine. This is another tone test for Gigi and I's comic. This was a piece for T-Zine issue 2. These were for a game that I didn't make. I still might. I really like the idea. The premise was that these figures were a non-binary two-spirit person and a black girl, a queer girl, and it was called Reconciliation, and the premise was that it was a fort building game in reverse, that these two characters who were the water buffalo and bison and water buffalo, that you would play as these two characters as a two-player co-op game, sort of in the style of Kingdom 2 Crowns. But then instead of taming the wilderness and building cities and towns and such, you would actually restore the land and like honor shrines and sites and stuff. I think I still would like to build this, but I don't have enough programming knowledge as of yet. That's definitely been the main limiting factor in most of my games projects recently. Speaking of which, if you've been enjoying the music this whole time, this is from Secret Place, which is also a project I made responding to what's been going on in Palestine the last few months. And the music is by my homie Baraka, and I'll put the links to his music as well in the description. In this sketchbook, I started taking a course with Ayelet Hashachar, who is just an incredible herbalist, and they were specifically oriented around care after gender-affirming surgeries, particularly for trans women, which was just incredible to learn from. Um, I believe this was some perspective practice. This was based on the anime Blue Period, which I really enjoyed and was super into in this time. These are preparations for my game Jockbound. So these are tests of the little player character, and then all the sketches of undies. During this period, I also began doing professional wrestling. So this is a local professional wrestler and my friend Ryder Furlong. These are some sketches from a match. This is my first ever drawing of my wrestling character, Papa Squats, who, as of the recording of this video, will be making his pro wrestling debut at Off the Ropes Wrestling in 5 days, which I'm so fucking hyped about. More notes from a class with Ayelet. This is a drawing of a plant called Molocheia. It's, oh my god, I can't think of the scientific name right now, but it's a type of mallow. It's in the same family as marshmallow, and it's a plant that's very commonly eaten in Egypt, in Palestine, pretty much throughout the Islamic world. And in Egypt, we make it into a type of soup, and it's very mucilaginous, which is to say it has a texture somewhat similar to okra, if you've experienced that before. It's not always to everybody's taste, but to me it's a real comfort food. I'll try and pop up the finished painting here. This is a design for a friend to decorate her airsoft rifle with. So, this with a gun. These were some hand designs that I was commissioned to make for somebody. During this period, I was really into shark guys. I'll let you Google why. These are for a comic called Last Finch, which I'm collaborating on with Alyssa Milano. That's still in the works. Is that all for that? Yeah, it's the end of the sketchbook. I think we got some fun things in here, maybe. This little dino by my friend Cole. And these ended up being a sticker design that I have available. This one too. And then these are the actual backgrounds that I made for Jockbound. So in a lot of my games and just in a lot of my projects recently in general, I've been trying to combine digital and traditional artwork. So I made these backgrounds, I scanned them in, I pixelated them, and that's what you can see as the chapter titles as you play through Jockbound. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. Welcome to all the new people on my channel, and yeah, hope you enjoyed this flip through of my last 2 completed sketchbooks. I'm about halfway through my current one, so hopefully that one will turn up in a couple months, but probably sooner will be the Testo Junkie essay, which I'm pretty excited about. Thanks, bye-bye.